Hello, Rabbi David Wexman again. In this video is dedicated to the concept of the universal faith and religion. The universal faith did not come to a reality until first had developed in the world religion. It was the desire of the prophets from the beginning, but it was not practical to reveal the universal faith until finally had been revealed religion in the world. Where can we see that? Abraham circumcised his son Ishmael, and he circumcised his son Yitzchak, Isaac. They were very close and dear to him. His wife Hagar, the mother of Ishmael, and his wife Sarah, the mother of Yitzchak. He had a beautiful relationship with his two wives. They were building a family, the family of Ishmael and the family of Isaac, and they were educating their children in the ethics of Mount Sinai to know the difference between good and evil, to know the evil that is in promiscuity, to live righteously. Actually, family life is a very important part of religion. There is faith in God. Teach your children that God is the creator of the world, and teach your children what God wants from us. This is, in short, what is religion. And then to have a schedule each day to get up early in the morning and to go pray. Pray in your own words to God. Go out to the fields and pray. Or pray and meditate on the greatness of God, how He created you. He gave you life, which is a gift. And then there was also sacrifices. In those days, Abraham built an altar and he sacrificed on the altar an animal to God. Sacrifice is part of prayer. Prayer is sacrifice. Sacrifice is prayer. Sacrifice is connected to charity. Giving from yourself to the poor. This is sacrificing from your flesh and blood, your hard-earned money, and then giving it away without asking anything in return. This is sacrifice. Taking some time out of your day and giving it towards prayer and meditation. This is sacrifice. Jews were chosen to bring the Sabbath into the world. That is to sacrifice one day of the week. The week is 7 days, the seventh day, for prayer, meditation, and devoted to the recognition that God created the world. This is, in short, what is religion? Religion is education of the children, raising the children to be righteous individuals, who recognize that God created them and know how to distinguish between good and evil. So Abraham was on that path. He had broken the idols of his father, Terach. Was in his house, they were not worshiping the one God, the one that he found in his life. They were worshiping natural existence, stars, trees, cows, rivers. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful creations of God. But Abraham worshiped the source of all these creations, and his father was worshiping the creations themselves. And more than anything, the creation of man, worshiping the creation of man as a natural creation, desiring pleasure, desiring power, worshiping the desire to be a king. These were the evil ways in the world. And Abraham came to open up the world to the source of nature. And in order to do that, he had to break the idols of nature, even though they were creations of God. And one of these creations of God that he had a great, great difficult test from God. Are you willing to sacrifice your family? God asked him to sacrifice his family because his family was a natural creation of God. And people in the world considered their family more important than God, and they go out and kill to protect their family. And they went out to make nations, which were built on tribal tribes, families, and they would conquer a land, and that would be their family land, and build a nation in that place. Nationalism is natural. It begins with family. So God said to Abraham, sacrifice your nationalism. It's in your heart, it's in your flesh to want to be a nation. It's in your flesh to want to make a family. And I ask you, go and sacrifice your children to me on an altar, and I will show you exactly where is the place that you're supposed to sacrifice your favorite son Isaac. And Abraham also took with him his other son Ishmael, and he went with his servant Eliezer, and they went up to the mount called Moriah, where is the temple today, the holy temple in Jerusalem. And he was willing to sacrifice Isaac on the altar, and Isaac was willing to be sacrificed, and Ishmael, his son, was also willing to be sacrificed, and even his servant was willing to be sacrificed. This would destroy the future of the Jewish people and destroy the future of Islam, because they come from Isaac and they come from Ishmael. And Eliezer was connected to Esau because he was not Jewish, he was a servant. We're not sure, but there are three major families in the world. These families are the family of Ishmael, Islam, the family of Isaac and Jacob, Jewish people, and the family of Esau. So God said, sacrifice for me your most precious possession, that is your children. Frightening, but Abraham was willing to do this for the sake of the universal faith. In the universal faith, God comes before the nation of Islam. God comes before the nation of Jacob, and comes before the religion which is called Christianity, which claims that their Messiah is God. No, God comes before the universal faith, and God comes before nationalism. Abraham was about to sacrifice his son Isaac on the altar, and God stops him. Not now. We're not ready for the universal faith. First, we have to build the families of God on earth through religion. And Abraham went on his way to build the family of his families, Ishmael and Jacob, into holy nations. And this was the desire of Abraham. God told to Abraham, I will make you into holy nations. And your nation, will be descended from Isaac, will be, for them, I will give the land of Israel, the best portion of land on the earth. After Isaac came Jacob. Jacob is called the father of truth. Isaac was blind, and he was ready to give the birthright out. He would usually give it to the firstborn. And Esau delayed in coming to see him, and Jacob was disguised as Esau, the firstborn child. And he came to Jacob, and Jacob said, you sound like Jacob. Your voice is like Jacob. But your smell and your hands are like Esau. But nevertheless, he gave to Jacob the blessing of the firstborn, and Esau came afterwards to argue. He wanted the blessing, and he resented that Jacob had gotten the blessing. Question comes, why did Isaac want to give this birthright to Esav, because Esav was a hunter. He wasn't a intellectual. He wasn't as holy as Jacob. Jacob was a holy saint. He watched over himself from relations with women even till the age of 80 when he got married. Esav was a hunter. Should Isaac give to Esav the blessing? But behind it all was that Isaac knew about the universal faith. And he knew that the children of Esav would be the ones to initiate in the world the universal faith. Actually, the universal faith was initiated through the children of Esav. The first attempt after Mount Sinai to initiate the universal faith was through Christianity, to create a Messiah for the world who is the Messiah of the universal faith. It didn't come right that exactly in that way. And I'll go on in the story because Jacob had two sons, had 12 sons. One of his sons was Joseph, who was an individual. He did very individual types of things. And he had dreams which were very, very confusing because in his dreams, he claimed that everyone worshipped, or the whole family worshipped him. His brothers resented that. No, his brothers were family people. They were devoted to their father. They resented that Joseph had rebelled against the unity of their family, even saying that his father and mother would worship him. So they took it on their own and they threw him into a pit, which is very, very sad. Your own brother, and Jacob loved Joseph even more than the other children. And he gave him a coat of many colors to represent his special love for Joseph. Joseph wore a coat of many colors, and his brothers wore black and white. Today, if you look at Judaism today, in an Orthodox community, or go into a yeshiva, you see that they're all wearing black and white. Colors, colored shirts, colored garments are out of place in Judaism, Orthodox Judaism. Who was Joseph in comparison to his brothers? And why did Jacob love him so much and give him a coat of many colors? Because Joseph represented the universal faith, and Jacob wanted, his first desire was for the universal faith. Story goes in the Torah, when after Jacob had stolen the birthright from, or had taken it cleverly. Let's say he didn't steal it, it was God's will. Esau ran after him and Jacob ran away. He ran away, and while he was on the way there, he stopped at the mountain, and he slept there in the place where Abraham had gone to sacrifice Isaac, which is the place of the temple. He slept on the south stone. He had a dream that at that place would be sacrifices. Was the angels went up and down a ladder of God from earth to heaven. That place was where would be the unity of heaven and earth. So Esau came, and Jacob was confronted with Esau. It's in Parsha Vayishlach. And Jacob was quite afraid. He said, oh, Katanti, maybe I've done sins, I don't know, but I know that Esau wants to kill me, and he'll destroy and kill my family with me. Yaakov went to meet Esau. He crossed over a river, now Yabok, and he fought with an angel because he had to find a way to overcome the danger of meeting Esau and to change over the darkness to light. And he succeeded to cross that river, and he bowed many, many times to Esau, and he gave him many, many gifts. And Esau and him hugged and kissed. He changed over the darkness to light, which represents the universal faith. The universal faith is the faith which changes over darkness to light. After that, he was given the name by God, Yisrael. So now he had two names, Yaakov and Yisrael. Jacob separated his camp into two camps. One, the camp of Yaakov, which is the camp of Orthodox Judaism, and the camp of Israel, which is the camp of progressive Jewish spirituality connecting to the universal faith. Joseph went down to Egypt. The Jewish people went down to Egypt during a famine. The 12 tribes, 70 souls, and the Jews were 210 years slaves in Egypt, tortured by Pharaoh, worse and worse and worse, even worse than the Holocaust. Holocaust was a few years. This was for 210 years. The Jewish people sunk to the lowest levels of faith, almost losing completely their faith. But a little bit of their faith remained, and from the Jewish people was born the prophet Moses. Story is Moses was born, and there was a decree to kill all the male children, and his sister Miriam put him in the river, and he floated him, and he was rescued by the daughter of Pharaoh. He lived in the house of Pharaoh. Moses, like all the prophets, had the desire for the universal faith. And he put that desire in the Torah, which he wrote the 5 books of Moses. But he put it in there in a secret way. Universal faith is connected to the secrets of the Torah, because the Torah itself is a guide for the Jewish people to practice a religion and to be an eternal nation. Jewish people were redeemed from Egypt with 10 plagues. The last plague, the smiting of the firstborn, and then they were taken to the Red Sea. Moses says, and the Jewish people believed in God and Moses, his servant, and the Red Sea split. They came to Mount Sinai, and Moses desired at that point to reveal the universal faith at Mount Sinai, to bring the world to perfection. What would be the meaning of perfection? That would be the world would become like it was in the Garden of Eden, as it was to Adam and Eve before they ate from the tree of knowledge and was born Cain and Abel and the rest of mankind. He wanted to reveal the universal faith. The universal faith existed in the Garden of Eden. Adam was connected to the universal faith. He was connected to the tree of life in the Garden of Eden. And Moses revealed the universal faith when God said, I am the Lord your God. Anochi and that word is revealed the universal faith. God gave him a set of tablets. He wrote them himself, and Moses came down from the mountain with the set of tablets. And at that point, he was disenchanted because he saw that the Jewish people, or there was amongst the Jewish people, and they were a majority, they didn't want the universal faith. They wanted religion instead. And he broke the tablets. He saw it wasn't the time to reveal the universal faith. The universal faith was revealed in the Parsha B'Shalach, which in the war the Jewish people had with Amalek. When Moses stood on the mountain, his hands were in the air, and they were held up by his 2 pride students, Hor and Aharon. So there were 3 on the mountain, and down on the earth was below fighting Amalek was Joshua. So the universal faith is a combination of the unity of 3 and also the battle on the earth for the one God. So this is the way it was described by the prophet Baha'i. He said, the universal faith combines 3 faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. but each religion remains important in its own. Why do you need both? And Moses saw we need both. Spirituality alone, that level of spirituality, which today you may find in India, where the people sit in an ashram and they meditate until they feel complete, spiritual, divorced from material life completely. It's a wonderful feeling. It's like you're feeling that you are on the mountain when the Torah was given. The mountain meaning who, like it says in Tehillim, who will go up to the mountain of God? The one who is the kikapayim of Alevov, the one who has purity. It's a great desire to go to this ashram and meditate, but most people go there, they're not ready for it, and they can't. It's not for everyone. Maybe the guru himself has succeeded to completely overcome material desires, but people go up there, everyone, they want it, but it's not practical. So Moses saw what's practical for the Jewish people is a religion which the people can have families and raise their families, and they should live righteously. The children should be righteous. They should be guarded from promiscuity. Marry them off at as young age as possible, even at the age of 15, 18, before they can get into trouble. Protect them from bad influences like drugs. A law, Moses gave the Jewish people a law of righteousness against abortion. Abortion is like murder. Maybe in the first month it's possible, but after the third month, for sure, it's considered a great sin. Homosexuality might be a desire, but you have to fight against it. It's not something that you accept as being permitted. These are the vices of today's world, which is today's world. People believe in freedom. Freedom is a great thing, but not everyone can be able to have the responsibility of that gift, which is called freedom. The Jewish religions, and Moses saw that the Jewish people weren't ready for freedom, because freedom is that life which is called the universal faith. And it's dangerous. It's not, you have to be prepared for it. You have to go through education from childhood to teenager, and then to adult, and even after adult, raising a family, even reaching to that level later in your life. You might be able to go to the holy city of Meron in Israel and open up the Zohar and start learning the Zohar. Or a new innovation in Judaism was to begin young, to prepare for the universal faith, to understand what is the meaning of the passage, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, which is called the higher unity, and through Hasidism, people began to learn about it, even at a young age. Here is a book called the Tanya. It's not giving permission to enter that level of the universal faith, but it's talking about it intellectually to understand what is it all about. Here is a book, the Zohar. The Zohar is actually revealing the universal faith, which is the level of 50, the 50th gate. This book, which is Eitz Chaim, was after the Zohar was revealed. The Arizal felt that Jews are not ready for the level of the universal faith, which is called Merkava, which is spoken about in the book Yecheskel, the Merkava, and in Isaiah also is spoken about the Merkava. This level of his pashut the gospel, going out of material life, which is transcending mentally all the world, seeing everything as one. The Arizal taught a way, gave an in-between, between strict Orthodox Judaism without the Kabbalah, and he added the Kabbalah to strict Orthodox Judaism. The Zohar has one level higher than that, describing what is the universal faith, and it's connected with the letter Aleph. The letter Aleph is a unity of three. Like Moses stood on the mountain at the battle with Amalek, there was three on the mountain and one on the earth. The universal faith is the unity of three, which is actually the purpose of creation. Was revealed on the third day of creation. Religion was revealed on the first day of creation, the day of one. Religion is faith, simple faith in one God. The universal faith also includes simple faith in one God, but it adds onto it what's called the knowledge of God. So in the universal faith, there is knowledge of God and also simple faith united together. But first comes to strengthen simple faith and to live righteously. Then after, through a great merit, a person can reach to understand the meaning of Shema Yisrael, the supernal unity. And there are two unities. One is Shema Yisrael, the higher unity, and Bruk Shem Kavod, the unity of the kingship. There is the higher kingship and the lower kingship. And the universal faith combines both of them. So Moses saw it couldn't be revealed at that time. And he revealed to the Jewish people their law, and he told Joshua, take the Jewish people into Israel, conquer the land, and establish in the land of Israel, the biblical nation of Israel, build the temple, and live according to the Torah. The universal faith is in the hearts and desires of God and the prophets. Religion is the beginning of the development of the universal faith. And the nation of Israel was ultra-Orthodox Jewish religion. It was against the universal faith. Ultra-Orthodox religion is against the universal faith. But you can't be able to stop it from the desire of the soul for the universal faith. The soul wants not only to believe in God, it wants to know God. The Jewish people, they at Har Sinai, it says, they ator reis ladas. You soar to know that God is Elohim, also one, and also three. In the heavens and earth there was none else. In the Torah is the commandment. V'yadata hayom b'shevos el levavecha, to know today and take to your heart that Hashem is Elohim, that there is two aspects of spirituality. The aspect of the first day of creation, the Amunah in the one God. The aspect of the third day, combining the first and second day, and that's the third day. But you have to unite the third day with the first day. And that's the secret of the universal faith. It's in the Torah. For instance, here is a pair of tefillin. We put on tefillin every day. The Jewish people are commanded. We should tie them to our hands, and also they should be fronted before our eyes. On the head tefillin is a shin of 3. 3 represents the universal faith, the unity of God of 3. And when it's united with religion, now it's 4. But a Jew first, you grow up, and when you're bar mitzvah, you're not really ready to understand what is the unity of God in the head tefillin. So you start off with simple faith. There's no letters on this box. It's one. It's the faith in one God. Here, the head tefillin is deep in its 4 boxes with 4 parchments. It's a shin of 3 and it's a shin of 4. And we have to watch over the holiness of the tefillin. And I have to put it back in the box because it's holy. And the first part of education of the children is the fear of God. If this tefillin will fall on the floor, we have a sin. And we have then to fast one day. We have to watch over the Holy Torah. And the Jews have watched over the Holy Torah. We read it 3 times a week. And there are special scribes that write it. And they don't change even one letter of the Torah. So that's because that is our commandment as Jews, to watch over the Torah. And in the Torah, if I open the Siddur, I open it to Shema Yisrael, the prayer of Shema Yisrael. You see here, there's one big letter here, and at the end, a big Daled, a big Ayin, and a big Daled. It's a unity of Ayin and Daled. There's also 2 names of God in the Shema Yisrael, which represents the 2 aspects of God. Hashem hu Elokim, the aspect of God, Yachid, the aspect of God, Rabim, he's in infinite and in the finite. The finite is one. The infinite is unlimited. Moses put the universal faith in the Torah. In this week's portion of the Devar Malchus of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, he talks about the month of Elul. The month of Elul is the month for repentance. It comes the month before the High Holy Days. And it says about the month of Elul, I am for Elul, his letter is Ani Ledodi Bedodi Li. I am for my beloved and my beloved is for me. There are two levels. I am for him and he is for me. From below to above and from above to below. This is the way of Judaism. We start with put on the tefillin on the arm. That is, I am for you. And then comes down the blessing from the head tefillin. And the Dodi, Ani the Dodi, where he is belongs to me. These are the two directions. The directions can be changed, but this is the direction of the commandment of God, commanding the Jewish people to keep Torah and mitzvahs. Because on Pesach, first was revealed the higher level, that is the first tablets, that was finally revealed at Mount Sinai, and then after was given the second tablets for the religion. But that was a one-time thing. The way of finding God is to start from below and work up to above. Breslov Hasidism is very different because they are talking about a special righteous person in the world who will reveal for you the universal faith. He's called the Tzaddik Emes. Because Emes, truth, includes in it the universal faith. Emes has three letters. Aleph. Aleph is the universal faith. It includes in it three different parts. The letter Aleph. Aleph. There are three parts, up, below, and center. This is the universal faith, is a unity of three. At the end of MS is the letter Tuf, the last letter. MS ends at the bottom with the letter Tuf. The letter Tuf is starting from the last letter. The last letter is the fear of God and working up to know God, to love God, and to reach eternal happiness even in this world. Basically, we are taught that this world is only a corridor to the next world. And all the suffering that we have in this world will get the reward for keeping God's Torah and for being Jews. We will get a reward in the next world. This is for everyone. It also says in another place, there's no reward in this world at all. We see today what the world is going through. Corona is coming back. It's not going to be pleasant. There are people, 45 holy people died in Maroon. On that holiday of Black Bomber, a building fell in Florida with wonderful people within it. There's a lot of darkness that we're seeing every day floods in Europe, killing many people, in India killing many people, fires, weather changers in the world. We say the world is a corridor. We struggle to do what God wants, and God will reward us in the next world. The only true reward that we could ever have in this world is the reward to know God. That is through knowing the secret of the word Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, the unity of God. And that is included the two messiahs of God, the Messiah of the universal faith and the Messiah of Judaism, who in Lubavitch Chassidim say is the Rebbe, Lubavitcher Rebbe. He lives forever in our hearts, even after the day of his passing on Gimel Tammuz. The universal faith was begun from the first day Adam was connected to the universal faith. Then Abraham revealed the universal faith at the Akeida of Yitzchak. Then the universal faith was revealed by Moses on Mount Sinai, but he broke the tablets. The Jewish nation was built according to religion, and it was against the universal faith, because the universal faith interferes sometimes with raising children, and especially to fight against promiscuity. The ideals of oneness can interfere, because the family structure is very important, and it's important to separate the family from the evil in the world, separate good from evil. This is religion. And Moses tried to reveal the universal faith. No, we weren't ready. Then came the prophet who said he was the Messiah, and he tried to reveal the universal faith with his students, and they claimed that after he was killed and suffered, that he resurrected, and from him came the universal church, but not yet the universal faith. Then came Islam to reveal the sanctity of separating male and female. While in Christianity, it was also, they had made a law which was separated male and female in Orthodox Christian education. The Christian leaders understood that man is imperfect, and that Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, and that man is not born with the knowledge of God. So we have to have first to educate children in the fear of God. Sometimes the Christians were more fervent in that than anyone else. They discovered in Canada graves of children, and no one knows what happened there. But now in Canada, they're burning churches because of this type of desecration. We don't want that. Religion is important. Anti-Semitism is against God. We have to have both freedom and religion together. And this is the revelation of the universal faith, which Moses wanted to reveal, and he broke the tablets. The first tablets had in it freedom and religion, but the second tablets were like the tefillin. It was square. There are many people that at many places we see the Ten Commandments with a circle on top. The circle represents the universal faith. But the Lubavitcher Rebbe said that what is Jewish religion is not the universal faith. It's the square, four, square. So the tefillin is square. But if in his deep lectures, he reveals the secret of the crown of God, which is circular, represented by the letter Samach. The letter Samach is circular. So there is a place in the letters is revealed. The Torah is revealed the universal faith. It's part of the secrets of God. It says the secrets of God are only for those that fear Him. But in the Arizal said we have to reveal these secrets today. People need them. The only way we can hold up our faith in God is to add on to it also the knowledge of God and the secrets of the Torah. Because the world gets darker and darker as we get closer to the culmination of creation. We try to survive. We try to, they're in Israel now, they're giving a third dose of the Pfizer vaccine. We're not going to give up hope. We want to live. But we're taught that this world is only a corridor to the next world. And the pleasure that we'll have in the next world is much greater than any pleasures that we can have in this world. God should give us faith and knowledge and truth for everyone. We should see that God is one and He's a unity of also a unity which is three and also one. God is Yud Kei Vav Kei, singular and plural, one and infinite. Amen.